What if I told you that choosing Android over iPhone says more about your personality than your budget? This isn't about specs. It's about how you think, how you see the world, and how much control you need in your life. And yes, some people won't like this. Every year, millions argue online about Android versus iPhone. But beneath the surface of cameras, processors, and ecosystems, there's something deeper happening. Psychology suggests that the phone you prefer reflects how you approach freedom, identity, and authority. So today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who prefer Android to iPhone. People who prefer Android often have a high need for control. They don't like being told how things should work. They want to customize, tweak, and decide for themselves. Android users are more comfortable diving into settings, changing launchers, modifying interfaces, and breaking default rules. Psychologically, this points to independent thinkers, people who dislike rigid systems and prefer flexibility over simplicity. To them, freedom is more important than polish. Let's be honest. For many people, the iPhone isn't just a phone, it's a status symbol. Android users? They're more likely to ask, what does this phone actually do for me? Research in consumer psychology shows that Android-leaning individuals are often utility-focused, not validation-focused. They care less about logos and more about value. Likes don't impress them. Functionality does. Android users are less likely to follow trends just because everyone else is doing it. When Apple releases a new iPhone, Android users don't feel pressure to keep up. This reflects psychological reactance, a tendency to resist mass persuasion and popular narratives. They don't like being boxed into ecosystems. They don't like digital handcuffs. And they're suspicious of anything that feels too controlled. Here's the uncomfortable part. Some psychologists argue that Android users score slightly higher on analytical thinking, while iPhone users lean more towards social conformity and emotional branding. That doesn't make one better, but it does explain why Android users often see iPhone fans as followers, and why iPhone fans see Android users as complicated. Different brains, different priorities. So if you prefer Android, you likely value freedom over fashion, control over convenience, and function over flex. But here's the real question. Do you use Android because it fits who you are? Or because you refuse to be told what to like? Let me know in the comments. And if this made you uncomfortable, that's usually a sign it hit something real.
Subscribe for more psychology that challenges how you think.